Okay, I'm looking out the back window of my dining room. There's the moon. It's very early in the morning. And let's focus that. That's the Blue Ridge Mountains. Way out there in the distance is the parkway, the Blue Ridge Parkway. At night, we can see headlights from the parkway. And that's all Pisgah National Forest. Ooh, it's very cold today. This is looking out front. The sun is beginning to rise over the mountains. There's a tree house I built my kids about 3 or 4 years ago now. Big tree that fell in the yard. We still haven't cut it down from Helene. No hurry. And I'm very chilly now. I need to put on a jacket. Breakfast this morning is an apple and a spoonful of yogurt. Man, it feels so good to have the van back. I love this van. I have the defrost on because the windows are a little foggy. If you can hear that background noise. I checked my email this morning and my one book, the short story book, I can't even see going around this corner. The sun's in the windshield. Wow, okay, now I can see. Anyway, I got an email saying that the binding, the writing was too large and it has to be made smaller to fit into the binding. I don't know what that was. Something sounded weird. But anyway, my 15-year-old is doing that. He designed the cover for both of my books this time. And he did such a good job. I'm so happy with it. And actually, to look at it, the writing looks fine. It looks like it fits on the binding. It fits within the guidelines. It's real close in one area, but it's not touching. But I guess they feel like it's too close. So I won't be getting it Saturday, like I thought. I may have mentioned that in the last video. I'll be getting it, probably 5-6 days after we make the correction and I enter it back. I'm publishing these things myself. I'm not going through the hassle of trying to query and, publishers and trying to get something published. I'll just publish it, and if somebody sees it and they want to republish it under their book company or whatever, they can. But I don't fool with that anymore. I used to query a long time ago, but man, it's such a hassle. Here comes somebody. I gotta make sure I don't get ran over here, because I might. That was my neighbor that I go get coffee with. I'd gladly dump this out the window to go somewhere else. Have a cup of coffee and chat a little bit, but alas, here we go. Drinking homemade coffee. Wow, that sun is bright today. I'm going to Walmart this morning. I was there last night with my wife and 2 kids, and they both saw some little drone thing they wanted. So I'm gonna get them each one of those for Christmas. I have other books planned too from prior writing that I've done. I'm getting to a point in my life where I want to wrap up things, like the short stories. I don't know if I've told any of my history, but I used to have a website called freeshortstories.com. Somebody else owns it now, but I used to have it. And each week I would post a short story. I got a lot of good comments. One day I got an email from a producer in Washington, D.C. He was actually a director at one of the news channels. He was a bigwig anyway in the company, but he wanted to make an independent film. He found my short story. At the time it was called Homecoming. He loved it. He said that I was the best writer online that he had seen, bar none, which made me feel very good. What a compliment. Long story short, he optioned that story. So I got a little money. I got a professional writing program out of it. I got invited to the set when they made this. It was a short film. They made this in Memphis, Tennessee. It got me hooked on independent filmmaking. It made the Sedona International Film Festival, and there was a festival at the time called the New York Hometown Film Festival. It was in there. I didn't get to go to either one of those. I would love to have, but anyway, that got me on the track. That's why I've made 2 independent movies, and I started 2 others. One of them I detail in the book that I just put together. What happened? It was a 3-day shoot, and it was a run and gun, meaning that we were just simply filming from one to the next very quickly. A whole feature-length movie in 3 days, 3 nights, in the middle of the woods, sub-freezing temperatures. I mean, in the teens, in the low 20s. We would film from sundown to sunup all through the night. And this was in 2012, I believe. I didn't have time to review any of the footage because I was just capturing it. We knew what we were doing. But 1 week after production wrapped up, everybody went home. Everybody just went on with their lives. I was finally not tired, and I decided to review the footage, and about 25 to 30% of it was ruined totally because the lubricants in my camera was freezing up, and the tape was just intermittently running like this, and that's how the footage looked. Very choppy, very bad. It didn't capture audio. You couldn't understand the audio. I was extremely depressed. I had spent, for me, quite a bit of money on this movie. I couldn't do anything with it. This was before I became a Christian. It had horrendous language in it, really bad language, and the subject matter was bad also. I'm not proud of it now, but that's a testament to what Jesus Christ can do in your life, to change a person. But back then I tried to rewrite the script with what I had, and I introduced another character that wouldn't directly interact with what I've already shot, obviously, because those actors are moving on, they're going into other projects. And I felt like I could do it. I felt like it might work. But then I gave it some space, and then I became a Christian, and I said, I can't do this. I can't try to make this work because there's too many bad words in here. There's too much garbage in here, and I can't do that. I just can't do it. So I shelved that project. Anyway, they're doing a lot of construction through here. Anyway, reading through that journal of the entries for the other movie I made, which also had some stuff in it, which is why I discontinued it online. I no longer sell that movie online. I don't want to make money from it because it had bad stuff in it. But just reading the journal that I had written during the time of the production made me think that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Like a family of people getting together You know, you meet these people, you're strangers, but then you become family. You spend a lot of time together. And yeah, I have about 10 to 12 feature-length scripts sitting on the shelf. And regardless of the content, I can redo them now beforehand if I wanted to, if I ever wanted to make another independent movie. It sounds a little enticing. After reading that journal, I started, these feelings started coming back. And I'm like, yeah, it wouldn't be that bad. See, the difference between making a movie and say what I do now is I sell online, number one, but I'm also an artist. I do sell my art on the marketplace. I've sold like 3 paintings in just the last little while. I can paint a painting in 1 or 2 hours and make several $100s. I can make a movie that'll take 1 year to plan it, to write the script, to plan it, to find the people, to actually be on the set and film it, and then go into post-production and all that. And then there's no guarantee you'll make hardly any money. And being an impatient person, my art is fast. I can do it quickly and I can make money. And that appealed to me. At the time when I was making movies, I thought that this is what I wanted to do with my life. I want to be a movie maker, a filmmaker. But then I realized that in reality, I am impatient. I want to get things done quickly. I want to do it good, but I want it done quickly. I don't want to have to wait a long time to do something. I'm at Walmart now. I know patience is a virtue. And I never said I had that virtue, but what in the world? The lights let you know they're on, I tell you. But I pray about it a lot about, I need patience and to accept the way things, as they are and what the Lord wants them to be. I pray for guidance. I pray for direction. Many times I prayed to the Lord and said, Lord, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, then let me know in some way. Give me signs. If I need to move out to the middle of Africa or Somalia or Iran, wherever, open the path for me. Let me know that's what I'm supposed to do, and I'll move my family anywhere in the world because I trust. I trust in Him. So far, I'm still here in Western North Carolina, the beautiful mountains, very conducive of raising a family, still doing my art, still selling online, and now starting a new YouTube channel. So, this is what I'm doing. But yeah, I have to get that file done. We homeschool, so I knocked on my 15-year-old's door, and he always cracks it open and looks at me, kidding around, of course. And I said, that first book, the binding, the writing is too big, and it has to be made smaller. So he'll do that sometime today and send me the updated file. And then I went and told my 11-year-old that I was going to go out for a while. I'm taking both of them Christmas shopping later on this afternoon. They're going to go with me. We'll probably go to a coffee shop and get a little bite to eat. And we do this every year, just the 3 of us, because we buy things for my wife for Christmas. But I told both of them by my 11-year-old, he'll sleep to noon if we let him. A 15-year-old sets an alarm and gets up at a certain time every day. Very rigid, very disciplined. My 11-year-old is more like me. not so rigid, not so disciplined, loves to sleep late, loves to stay up late. In fact, I was out working on my computer last night until about 1:30 in the morning, and he was out there with me. He was sitting in front of the heater. He had a game of cards that he had gotten at a Christmas party at church last night, and he was just playing around with it, seeing what it was. It was not a card, like a deck of cards, but like a card game. And yeah, he's so much like me. Apple didn't fall far from the tree in his case. And the apple didn't fall far from the tree. My 15-year-old, because he's a lot like my wife, because my wife is more disciplined than I am. So, I mean, I admit it. I mean, I'm an artist. I'm an entrepreneur, a writer, filmmaker. I do all these kind of creative things, and I think my personality is pretty much ordinary, usual for that kind of personality, I suppose. I love the morning. I love to get out, and I mean, it's not so early. It's like 8 o'clock, but it's just cool to be out before, 10 or 11 if you sleep in late. Like, I could easily do. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. At some point, you never know. I mean, what I'm going to do, I'm going to look over the one movie that I shot in the forest in the middle of the night in the sub-freezy and see if there's anything I can do with the language. I mean, yeah, I could go back to the actors and try to get them to say certain words like darn it or things like that, but it's not worth it. I mean, this has been, I think with 2012, it's 12 years ago, 13 years ago, because we filmed it at the first of the year in 2012. So, I'm not going to do that. Anyway. My one movie, it was a psychological drama. It was called The Purple Box. And it won an award at a film festival. I didn't get to go to that one either, but being a creative person, I'm one of those creative persons. I may have mentioned this too, but I like to create, but I don't like to do the business end of it. Like try to find distribution for my movies or a publisher for my book. I just take the easy route out. I know it's not very admirable sometimes, but I mean, that's just who I am. I'll create something and I'd rather let it sit there and collect dust as opposed to try to find an outlet for it or a buyer. Drives my wife crazy. I know it does, but that's just the way I am. When we were at the gallery, I remember the first time somebody was going to buy a high-end painting, and it was a $2,500 painting. Because a lot of my stuff sells for, up to $350. This was a $2,500 painting, and this couple wanted it. But the only reason they weren't going to get it because they had a little car. They were on vacation. They were going to be here for several more days, but they had no way of transporting it back to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is only a 3-hour drive. And while they were looking at it, I was outside sitting with my sons, and she came out and told me, "These people want your painting, $25. Get in there and sell it and figure out a way." And yeah, I kind of dragged my feet. I didn't do it. I just waited till they came out, and I forgot what I said, but it wasn't any kind of an answer like you can have it for $2,000 or $2,200 or whatever. But that wasn't the issue. I mean, I shouldn't have done that. The issue was I should have went in there and said, "I hear you're interested in my art." "Yeah, we are. We love it." Because I went in there and the guy was like, "Well, look at it. Look at it." this would go great, blah, 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 in our, whatever. What I should have said, but this is in retrospect. You always know what to say in retrospect, right? You evaluate the situation after the fact and be like, this is what I should have said. This is what I should have said. I should have went in there and said, so your issue is transporting it to Charlotte because you have a small car? Yes. How long, when will you be home? We'll be home in a week from our vacation. Okay, give me your address. I mean, I'll take it to you personally in my car. Boom. And we can either meet someplace or I can come to your home and I'll be glad to deliver it free of charge. That's what I should have done. And I'd have probably gotten a cell. I mean, no doubt, because the issue was they had a very small car and they had no way to transport it. Well, I had an SUV. I could transport it to Charlotte, and I'm always up for a road trip. So that's just one of those times where I dropped the ball. I admit it. I dropped it. So anyway. I'm going to go. There's a bad shadow on my face. Or maybe it's not a shadow. There is a shadow, but maybe the bad part is that the light's coming in and making this part of my face too bright. See? I don't know. See, it could be like that. Is that better? I don't know. Okay. Take care, guys. I'm so glad that, you joined me for these little camper van, coffee break types of conversation. And please drop a line down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And remember that God loves you so much. God bless you guys. And I'll see you soon. Okay, take care. They are going to tear it down.